How's it going, everyone? I'm VenomousStare, and I am back with Game 2 of this best of 3 between HeroMarine, the German player, opening with an exciting build, CC first. Love to see this as opposed to Reaper. He is in the bottom left of Proxima Station. His opponent, who is also fast expanding, at the front is Solar, the Korean Zerg, a guy who has made it extraordinarily far in several major lands. Last game we saw HeroMarine go for an extremely macro-focused build, a build that really innovation popularized and perfected in the early stages of Heart of the Swarm. And that build was essentially fast 3cc with double upgrades, and you just kind of make 6 Hellions and keep the Zerg on their side of the map with the Hellions and the 1 Reaper. And you tech like a madman, to be honest. It's a pretty greedy way to play, but quite honestly, if you can make it into the mid and late game after doing that opener, you're in a very, very good position. And if you're a good player, you can constantly keep Zerg on the back foot, and that's what HeroMarine did, was essentially he was in Solar's face for like 8 straight minutes. He was basically like playing premier defense essentially by just staying in his face all the time. HeroMarine was acting like Ron Artest basically in StarCraft 2 by just being so obnoxiously in the face of Solar the entire game. And that's what you want to do as Terran against Zerg. You always want to be bothering them, forcing them to make non-drones, because all of Zerg's units come from this unit, or this structure right here, the hatchery. Which, the hatchery, since it makes everything right here, for you newbie players who don't know better, that means that if you can force Zerg to make attacking units like Zerglings, then they can't use the larvae on drones. It's not like where we see Terran and Protoss, where they have their main bases, they just produce workers from them the whole time. Zerg can make workers a bit quicker, but they have to choose between workers or attacking units. So at its very core, TvZ is largely about forcing Zerg to make non-drones, and playing against Zerg in general in every single versus Zerg matchup, whether it be Protoss versus Zerg, Terran versus Zerg, or even Zerg versus Zerg, at its core really is about getting Zerg to make units that are not drones that they cannot use effectively. 2 Hellions are out here for HeroMarine, and this is a tried and true build and strategy, this Hellion opener, as we see a couple more Hellions are going to come out for HeroMarine, as well as a Liberator, and Marine doing a bit of scouting prevention there. But what does Solar see? Pretty much everything. As with 1 Marine, it can be a bit hard. These Hellions are continuing to pressure. So if Zerg always makes Queens to spread creep, and Queens are good against Hellions, then why does everyone make Hellions? Some new players might be asking. Well, Hellions always threaten to kill drones, so you kind of have to make Queens. So a top tier players like Solar and other good Zergs are really just going to constantly make Queens in the early game until they have 2 or 3 to spread creep at the front and play defense. But the fact that these Hellions exist means that the Queens have to be made. If the Queens are skipped, the Hellions can do severe drone damage. But more importantly, the Hellions are really here to prevent creep spread from occurring, and they kind of pressure Zerg to have to make a few lings or even have to go into Roach sometimes, because oftentimes Hellion openers transition into something like this, the Hellbat timing. Double upgrades on the way for HeroMarine, and HeroMarine's going to be aggressive. The Roach Warren just finished, 5 Roaches are on the way, but the Hellions are at the front door. The Roaches have popped, and suddenly HeroMarine is going to have to retreat. No medevacs. Remember, he made a Liberator, which is currently sieged up back here, and it hasn't gotten a single kill. Great defense here from Solar as he's pushing off the Hellbat push. So HeroMarine is up 1-0 as the Queen gets butchered there, and an OV dies. But HeroMarine didn't really do much damage with that Hellion/Hellbat pressure. He is shutting down mining at this back base, and this Liberator is set up in an annoying spot, but not a perfect spot, as Blizzard has kind of done a good job getting rid of those truly god tier perfect Liberator spots that are impossible to get to. largely in part to the Queen Range upgrade. Not upgrade, buff, excuse me, the Queen Range buff that occurred a few months ago. And whenever you play Terran, it's always very good to not lose your harassing units, even if it appears as though they have been snuffed out and defended. Even if this Liberator is extremely low, the fact that HeroMarine has this in his back pocket means that in a few minutes, when the players are doing a mid-game fight and maybe HeroMarine's dropping, he can just throw this Liberator back in, and if Solar's not ready, maybe it can really shut down a base even if it gets in a tricky spot. Because if you're having to deal with an attack up here, a drop in the main, and you see a Liberator come up, you might just have to pull drones and do an A-click over, and if it's just covering like this little area, then the Queen could get picked off. That's one thing that players like Maru and Innovation are always really diligent about, that a lot of players, especially foreign pro gamers, aren't as necessarily diligent about, is continuously keeping your drops alive even once they've been defended well. But 3 Liberators are going to siege here, and suddenly what was a little bit of a headache has turned into a huge pain in the ass, because 1 Liberator's annoying, 2 Liberators are bad because one can siege an area, the other can protect it, but 3 is really awful because your mining really starts to get shut down. And we can see more aggression occurring here as the Hellions come out, 4 drones die, and the Queen, boom, gets mowed down. And the Liberators obviously can just move to where the Spore Crawlers are not, but the drone pull occurs. Liberators are very tanky, so they can definitely gargle a few Spore shots. Solar has a pretty crappy army, just Roachling. Not to say that he doesn't need it or that he shouldn't have made it, but can't really threaten HeroMarine. And HeroMarine can just keep being obnoxious, setting up where the spores aren't, and because there are multiple Liberators, this is really hard to deal with, and this is incredibly irritating for Solar because his Spire has just about... Oh, we see the Liberator almost died. The Spire is just about to be completed, and it will be timed up with 1-1. But HeroMarine does a big filthy push out right when the mutas start to be built, so this is exactly what you want to do with Terran. As soon as Zerg is transitioning into the Mutalisk, do the push. And very unfortunately for Solar, he did go Roach in the mid-game. Again, partially because of those Hellions. Roaches are very good against Hellions, so oftentimes you can force Zerg into going Hellion, so the Bane Nest has been delayed. And Roachling might fight here against Stim Bio, and Stim Bio is incredibly good against Roachling, and this is what I mean. Solar's kind of caught in a weird spot. Beautiful timing here from HeroMarine as he comes screaming forward, and the Liberator might do something too, as the Bio is finally going to get picked off here. But the thing about fighting Terran Bio when they have 3cc Mule is even if you win one fight, another fight will be very quick to follow, and the Terran will more likely be able to produce units at a faster rate than you. As you see Stim going down here, great play from HeroMarine, stemming forward, avoiding the Corrosive Bile, 2 Widow Mines as well, and the Overseer dies, so no more detection for the Zerg. Notice slow Baneling. Slow Baneling's a product of the Roach choice in the early game, and the Tech and Spire, which of course is a product of all the Liberator pressure. So the pressure choices in the build order of HeroMarine really force Solar to tech into a certain tech path, and then HeroMarine is abusing Solar in a way that is very good based on what he chose to do in the early game. So great play from the German here, a very well thought out build as he's continuing to press this gold base. And Solar's in this weird spot where he made a few mutas. What does he have now? You see him on the production tab? I sure as hell don't. And by production tab I meant unit tab. So there's really no mutas to speak of, so the Liberators and Medivacs will be good. Does he have Baneling speed? No. He only has 1-1. 2-2's about to finish, but then he'll just be even with the Terran. He's still making Banelings, which he really needs, but at the same time, slow Banelings are god-awful, even on creep. His creep spread's not great. HeroMarine's been dealing with it, thanks large in part to that Hellion opener. And HeroMarine is just continuing to aggress. 3-3 done for the Terran, not for the Zerg. This could be big. HeroMarine stems forward, and we need to keep an eye on that upgrade tab. And the 2 armor upgrade finishes for the Zerg, the Carapace, but HeroMarine is continuing to push forward here. Preemptive stems, a tank, and mines, as HeroMarine really has the whole Terran smorgasbord. But Tank Ravager, or excuse me, Roach Ravager is very tanky. And HeroMarine once again press back the 2 Infestor combo. But does get a nice fungal, and these Medivacs do die, a couple of them at least. But the Marauder Slow does take advantage of those Ravagers, and a Ravager falls, but the players trade off very well, and HeroMarine is just continuing to press up at the gold base. The upgrades have even, but this is the death nail right here, the quintessential TvZ turning point, the 3-3 upgrade for the Terran infantry. Why is this so important? Why is it so highly talked about, and why does it happen so much? Well, Terran 3-3 can occur whenever they get Armory. Well, quite frankly, their 2-2 can occur when they get Armory. They have to have the Armory to start 2-2 from 1-1. Well, the Zerg can get 2-2 with Lair, but quite honestly, they can get it with Hatch Tech too. Or no, excuse me, the point is that Zerg has to tech all the way to Hive to have to get the 3-3 upgrades. And we can see Solar just now finished his Hive. He's trying to get into that Ultra play. But as it stands, a Fungal goes down onto the Terran army, and some Burrowed Lynx come. So the Terran's trying to set up some harassment options, but the Zerg is trying to set up some harassment options, but the Terran player has a beautiful gold PF here, mining diligently away. Now this base over here for the Zerg player is not exactly set up very well. The gases are not mining, and the Terran presses forward here. HeroMarine is screaming into the gold base of Solar, and Corrosive Biles come down here and miss because HeroMarine splits pretty damn well, and the attempted counterattack comes down. But HeroMarine throughout the series has been very good about leaving units behind and not just mindlessly parade pushing and always having his rally point set out there. 3-3's about to finish. 1 Ultra on the way, as Solar did manage to get some Infestors out this game. He wasn't able to do that last game, but he doesn't have a whole lot of Infestors, only 3, and he's trying to tech into Ultra, but he doesn't really have the ability to do that because HeroMarine has just kept the pressure on all game, and we can see that in both games Solar has really tried a sizable counterattack that would have crushed a lot of Terrans because most Terrans just rally their stuff out really aggressively. And HeroMarine has been playing very conservatively and intelligently. A Fungal goes down, gets a little bit, but a lot of bio still for the German. Notice the German is continuing to expand and aggress. These Infestors have almost no energy, guys. They do not have enough for a Fungal. HeroMarine screaming forward, pressing in onto these Banes. This might be it for the Zerg, as he's down almost 40 supply. Scan comes down. He sees, oh, you don't have any Fungal energy left. Another counterattack kind of being set up there, but Fungal does go down finally, as the Infestor had like 66 energy and it finally gained it. And will that be enough to save this Korean Zerg from a 2-0 at the hands of a foreigner? I don't think so, and there's the GG. Solar taps out to HeroMarine. HeroMarine takes the 2-0. Make sure you subscribe to this channel to see more StarCraft 2 content. Tell your buddies about it.